Numbers that matter most right now. Eala is the 29th seed. That sentence deserves to sit by itself for a second, because no Filipino tennis player has ever been seeded at a Grand Slam. No Southeast Asian player has been seeded in major singles since Thailand's Tamarine Tanasugarn at the 2009 Australian Open. Eala got here by doing something extraordinary on grass over the past 3 weeks. She won the Birmingham title without dropping a set until the final, where she came back from 5-7 down to beat Nikola Bartunkova in a match that lasted 2 hours and 38 minutes. She went straight to Queen's Club, beat Zheng Shuai, then ran into Iva Jovic and got flattened 2-6, 2-6. That could have been the end of the story. It was not. She entered Berlin as an unseeded player in a WTA 500 draw stacked with genuine stars and proceeded to beat Donna Vekic, who had just won the Queen's Club title, 7-5, 6-4. Then she beat Elena Rybakina, the world number 2, 7-5, 6-4. Then she beat Alina Svitolina, the world number 8, 6-3, 6-4. 3 top 10 caliber opponents in consecutive rounds. Linda Noskova stopped her in the semifinals, 6-2, 6-4, and even that loss could not erase what had already been accomplished. Eala went to Bad Homburg on a wild card and lost to Elise Mertens in the first round, which brought her grass season record to a somewhat misleading 11-3 because those 3 losses came against Jovic, Noskova, and Mertens, none of them soft touches. The 11 wins included a title, 2 top 10 scalps, and a semi-final at a premier event. Her ranking climbed back to 30, which was enough for that historic 29th seed. Zarazua arrives from the other direction entirely. Her 2026 has been a fight for equilibrium. 19 wins, 19 losses across all surfaces, the kind of record that looks tidy from a distance, but feels like trench warfare when you are living it. She hit a career high of 51 in November 2024, and the 16 months since then have been a slow, stubborn slide. She is now 76, which still represents a remarkable achievement for a Mexican woman in professional tennis. Zarazua was the first Mexican woman to crack the WTA Top 100 in nearly 3 decades. She was the first to beat a top 10 opponent at the US Open since Angelica Gavaldon defeated Jana Novotná in 1995, pulling off a stunning 3-set upset of Madison Keys last August. That win announced her as a player capable of genuine damage on any given day. But the days since have not always cooperated. On grass specifically this year, her record tells a particular story. She won 4 matches, all in qualifying rounds at Berlin and Bad Homburg. The moment she reached the main draw at either tournament, she lost in the first round. At Libima in Hertogenbosch, she lost to Barbara Krejcikova 1-6, 2-6 in the first round of the main draw there too. 3 consecutive first-round main draw losses on grass heading into Wimbledon. Her career grass record sits at 12-14. She has one Wimbledon main draw win in her career over Janina Wickmayer in 2025, before Amanda Anisimova ended her run in the second round. So here's the picture. You have a 29 seed riding the hottest grass court stretch of any player outside the top 10 this season, and you have an opponent who has been losing the moment the competition level jumps above qualifying standard on this surface. The seeding, the form, the surface record, everything points one direction. And if this were a match between strangers, you could write the preview in 3 paragraphs and move on. But these two are not strangers. The doubles partnership at Roland Garros was not some random administrative pairing thrown together by a tournament desk. Eala and Zarazua chose each other. They won their first match 7-5, 6-4 over Appleton and Reimers, which means they spent at least 90 minutes reading each other's movement, anticipating each other's court positioning, learning each other's instincts under competitive pressure. Doubles does that. You learn when your partner is about to poach. You learn where she hides when her serve is under pressure. You learn whether she pulls her return cross-court or goes down the line when she feels threatened. All of that information is now available to both women, and neither can unknow it. There is also a singles history between them, though it cuts against the narrative you might expect. In August 2024, at a W100 event in Cary, North Carolina, Zarazua beat Eala 3-6, 6-4, 6-3 on a hard court. Eala won the first set and then lost the next two, which means Zarazua has already demonstrated the ability to solve Eala after falling behind. That was a different surface, a different year, and both players were in different places in their careers. But match memory is real. Zarazua knows she has beaten this opponent before. She knows the feeling of being down a set to Eala and finding a way through. That psychological receipt does not expire just because the surface changed. Now let me get into what actually happens when these two step onto grass together, because the tactical dynamics are fascinating. Eala is a left-hander who stands 5'9" and hits the ball flat through the court. On grass, that combination is vicious. Her serve kicks into awkward angles that right-handers struggle to return cleanly, and her ground strokes stay low through the surface, skidding rather than sitting up. The Birmingham title and the Berlin run were not flukes. They were the logical output of a game that was built, whether by design or by happy accident, to thrive on short grass. When Eala is controlling rallies with her forehand, dictating the geometry of the court, pulling opponents wide and then finishing through the open space, she can overwhelm players who are ranked well above her. Rybakina and Svitolina did not lose to an inspired underdog having the week of her life. They lost to a player whose shot selection and physical tools gave them problems they could not solve in 2 sets. Zarazua's game presents a fundamentally different proposition. At 5'3", she is one of the shorter players on the WTA Tour, and her serve reflects that reality. She averages 0.44 aces per match in 2026 and hits her first serve at around 75% accuracy, but converts only 55% of first serve points won. Those are not numbers that generate free points on grass, where a serve that sits in the hitting zone even slightly too long gets punished. Her strength has always been her return game and her ability to extend rallies, to make opponents play one more ball than they want to. On clay, where the ball bounces high and slow and gives her time to set up, that approach can be devastatingly effective. On grass, time is exactly what the surface takes away. The ball stays low, skids through, and asks you to improvise from uncomfortable positions. Zarazua's 3 first-round main draw losses on grass this season were not coincidental. They were the surface telling her that her best weapons operate at reduced capacity here. But tennis matches are not decided by spreadsheets, and here is where the doubles partnership becomes tactically relevant in ways that go beyond psychology. Eala and Zarazua spent time together on a practice court before Roland Garros. They warmed up together, played points together, discussed tactics together. Zarazua has seen Eala's serve from the partner's side of the net, not just the returner's side. She has seen where Eala places her second serve when she is trying to set up a forehand. She has seen Eala's movement patterns when charging the net. She has a library of small observations that most first-round opponents simply do not possess. Can she use that information? Probably not enough to change the fundamental calculus of the match. But if Eala is sloppy with her serve placement early, if she falls into predictable patterns, Zarazua is better positioned than almost anyone to recognize them. There is also the matter of what this match means beyond the scoreline. Eala's section of the draw contains one of the most tantalizing possible second-round matchups in the entire tournament. The winner of Eala versus Zarazua plays either Serena Williams, yes, that Serena Williams, who accepted a wild card into the singles draw, or Australia's Maya Joint. Joint is a player Eala knows well. She lost her in the 2025 Eastbourne final after holding 4 championship points. Williams is Williams, a name that requires no further explanation. The prospect of Eala, the first Filipino Grand Slam seed, facing Williams, the greatest champion the women's game has ever produced, in the second round at Wimbledon is the kind of scheduling poetry that tournament organizers dream about. But it only happens if Eala gets past Zarazua first, and history is littered with seeded players who looked past a first-round opponent toward a glamorous second-round matchup and paid for it. I want to talk about something that the numbers cannot capture, which is what it feels like to play someone you partnered with. Professional tennis is full of relationships that cross competitive lines. Players practice together, travel together, share physios and hitting partners, then walk out and try to destroy each other's seasons. Most of the time, the competitive machinery overrides the personal connection. You learn to compartmentalize. But doubles partnership is different from casual proximity. When you choose someone as your partner, you are making a statement of trust. You are saying, I believe your game complements mine, and I am willing to share strategy and vulnerability with you. Turning that partnership into opposition requires a specific kind of emotional toggle that some players manage better than others. Eala has demonstrated this season that she can handle the emotional complexity of playing friends. Her matches against Jovic, a close friend and former doubles partner, have not seemed to affect her competitive intensity. Whether Zarazua can manage the same compartmentalization is less clear, partly because her 2026 season has already been defined by emotional turbulence and inconsistent form. Let me also address what Zarazua would need to do tactically to make this competitive. Her path to an upset, and I use the word upset deliberately, because that is what it would be, runs through Eala's second serve. Eala's serve has been identified throughout her career as the weakest technical element of her game. On grass, the surface helps disguise some of that weakness because even an average serve skids through quickly. But Zarazua's return game is legitimately strong. She broke Madison Keys, a player who serves much harder than Eala, in a Grand Slam match last year. If Zarazua can establish early return pressure, force Eala into long service games, and drag the match into extended rallies where the ball gets played back and forth enough times that the surface advantage diminishes, then she has a chance to make Eala uncomfortable. She does not have to win those rallies every time. She just has to win them often enough to create doubt, because once doubt enters a service game, even a seeded player starts to tighten. The other factor working in Zarazua's favor is that she genuinely has nothing to lose. Her ranking is sliding, her grass results have been poor, and nobody outside of Mexico expects her to win this match. That kind of freedom is chemically different from the burden Eala carries. Eala walks onto court with historical significance on her back. First Filipino seed. First Southeast Asian seed in 17 years. A potential date with Serena Williams waiting in the second round. Every Filipino tennis fan, every member of the global Filipino diaspora, every person who has followed her journey from the Rafa Nadal Academy to this moment, all of them are watching. That weight is real, even for someone who has shown repeatedly that she can perform under pressure. The first round of a Grand Slam as a seed for the first time is a specific kind of test. You are supposed to win. Anything other than winning is a failure. That expectation creates tension in muscles and hesitation in decision-making that does not show up in the warm-up. But here is what I keep coming back to. Eala in the past 3 weeks has beaten Donna Vekic on grass, beaten Elena Rybakina on grass, beaten Alina Svitolina on grass, and won a title on grass. Those are not marginal results. Those are the results of a player who has found something on this surface that goes beyond form, something closer to identity. When she talked about the Wimbledon seeding in an interview after Berlin, she said it touches close to home, and you could hear in her voice that she understood the weight of it. She has been carrying the expectations of an entire country for years now, and she has learned slowly, sometimes painfully, how to let that weight fuel her rather than freeze her. Zarazua is a proud competitor with genuine accomplishments. Making the WTA Top 100 as a Mexican woman, winning WTA 125 titles, shocking Madison Keys at the US Open, these are not small things. She has a family tennis legacy that stretches back to her great-uncle Vicente, who won doubles gold at the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. She is coached by her brother Patricio. She carries her own history into every match. But the evidence on grass this season says that the main draw level on this surface is currently beyond her. 3 first-round main draw losses in a row, all in straight sets, against Krejcikova, Noskova, and Sinu Wang. None of those opponents attacked her game as precisely as Eala's left-handed angles will. So I will tell you what I think happens. I think Eala wins this match, and I think she wins it in straight sets. I think her serve causes Zarazua problems from the first game, because the left-handed slice out wide on the deuce court pulls a right-handed returner off the court in a way that grass exaggerates. I think Zarazua competes hard in the first set, probably holds serve a few times using her return instincts to stay in rallies. But that Eala breaks at least twice, because the difference in serving firepower on this surface is too large to overcome over a full set. I think the second set is looser, because once Eala settles into the rhythm of her own service games, the match opens up and her ability to finish points in fewer strokes starts to compound. Something like 6-3, 6-4 would not surprise me at all. A 6-2, 6-3 scoreline is within range if Eala serves well early and Zarazua cannot find the return rhythm that made her dangerous against bigger servers on hard courts. The one thing I refuse to do is pretend the doubles history does not matter. It does. Not because it changes the fundamental matchup. Eala's game is simply better suited to grass than Zarazua's, and no amount of insider knowledge overcomes that physics, but because it